Sanchez, for sure. So, yeah, so I'm glad you guys were able to tune in. Really good show here. Raul and I go a little bit back, like, God, when I first started, and
2007 is when we located here together.
yeah,
You came
that's
from,
right. Where you came from, Westlake or
yeah,
something?
I came from
From
Texas.
Texas. That's right.
So we came here together, started up I guess the branch of the company that we were working for at the time here. And yeah, as I say, the rest is history, man.
Yeah. Okay, so also with us tonight we have JP, got Ian, Trevor. So we got a number of folks. We're gonna try to keep things organized a little bit, because really we're talking to Raul about, like, who's Raul?
Who am I to start at the
And
beginning?
by the way, yeah, in a way, right? Why not? Because and for those out there that are listening, and either live right now or eventually in the archive, uh, if you want your own show and you got something to talk about, send me an email at theboydpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll get you on the show. Even if you don't live in Jacksonville, Florida, where I am right now, you can Skype in. I'll get you on. I had my brother from he's over in Oklahoma City. He Skyped in. It was pretty fun. We talked about quantum physics and all that mess. So
We're not talking about that today.
just
Right
saying,
over my head.
sometimes it's just whatever's clever. So anyway, if you want your own show, just send me an email. Meanwhile, give us a call, 904-638-5119, or hit us up on the chat stream and ask some questions. So yeah, Raul, tell us about Raul.
Golly, man.
Like, if you, like, in a 2-minute elevator speech,
All
what's
right.
your life?
All right, so I'll give you the you go to a new class or whatever, and
Yeah,
hey,
introduce
tell us
yourself,
about yourself.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Right.
exactly.
I've lived in I think 14 different states. I wasn't a military brat. My dad had some mental issues and thought that the next state or the next job location was the place to be at. Kind of escaping, reality of my life is not that great. But it could be that much greater if I go to this next place. So, had to deal with that growing up. Gosh, what else? I played baseball in high school, dabbled with it in college a little bit. Wasn't
Wait,
as
where
fun.
was this?
Huh? In
Where was
Texas.
this
I
again?
went to
Okay,
high school in
sorry.
Texas. So I went to like 4 or 5 different elementary schools. Went to one middle school, hated it, worst years of my life.
Wow.
Middle school was awful.
Why was it so bad?
I got beat up, dude, all the time.
Oh, no
yeah,
way.
see the scar on my right here?
Damn.
Yeah, got kicked by some skinheads.
No way. In Texas?
Yeah.
Damn, son. I had to deal with a bunch of racial stuff in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I used to get beat up, like, so if you guys see me in the picture with the dog, I'm a white ass looking fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look like pretty white looking. You know what I'm saying? But
You don't look Asian. If people look
yeah,
Asian,
exactly. I'm telling you, those white kids, they were my friend. I thought they were my friends anyway. And they found out I was half Chinese, and
Yeah.
so they every recess or lunch, same thing, right? Middle school, I guess, whatever, lunch time. They would we would, like, eat food, eat our food, whatever, and then go, like, sit in the corral. Basically, it was just an open space near the, you know what I mean, where you just congregate in your cliques. You know what I'm talking about? Every high school's like that, basically. And they would, like, surround me, and they would, like, blame me or my family or somebody for like their, like, relative dying in World War II,
Yeah.
or for Vietnam or Korean War, or something that happened to the granddad or great uncle or some shit. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, what the fuck? Oh, I don't understand what's going on.
You don't even know what they're talking about.
Well, I mean,
Or they would reference some place that.
yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm not even. That's the Vietnam War. My mom's from Taiwan. She didn't give a shit what was going on over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's like, oh, World War II. That's the Japanese. My mom sort of don't like them neither. It's like the Chinese don't necessarily love the Japanese. In fact, I don't think anybody loves the Japanese that much because
Not
of
back
World War
then.
II.
Not
You know
back
what I'm
then,
saying?
yeah.
It's still harbors resentment. So. That's crazy, man. That's nuts that you ran into that stuff. And
Yeah, I ran into it a lot. it was a lot more prevalent back when I was younger. I think now it's changed quite a bit, especially when I go back to school to the area where I grew up. I shouldn't say grew up, but the area where I was at high school at.
Yeah.
It's changed quite a bit. It's just a lot the dynamic different. But back then, man, it was the skinhead thing was a big thing. It was like a big deal.
That's so crazy, man.
I think Texas. I don't think skinheads.
Yeah,
I really
man,
don't.
skinheads. And the funny thing about it is the two kids that were the instigators.
Yeah.
And I still remember their names. I was thinking about it the other day. Yeah,
We're a bunch of bitches.
I was thinking about it the other day.
If you're listening
It's funny
in
we're
right
talking
now-
about this, but
You want to go find them and kick them?
no. See that? No, I did. I'm
Oh.
like, I want to see
You
these
found
guys.
them?
I want to know where they're at in
No
life.
shit.
I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah, because you're sitting there, on
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
and your mind starts to wander, and you're just
Wonder what
lunch
those
break
assholes
or
are.
whatever. So I started to look up their names, and one of them was killed in a bank robbery. Like he
Holy
was robbing
shit.
the bank,
Wow.
and he got shot. He got killed.
Wow.
The other one was a pedophile.
Oh shit.
Karma really is a bitch.
That's
Well,
what
I
it
mean,
is,
pedophiles. That's just you're already
Well, yeah.
shitty. That's not.
But no, I'm talking about the
karma
guy
come
that got
back and-
killed.
Yeah. But
Oh yeah. Okay.
But it's just crazy to think that I could look them up, knowing how they were in school and how they treated me, and I could I immediately identify like, oh, those are those guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, I left high school.
Yeah, sorry to
went to
hijack.
school. I went on a 2-year Mormon mission. So I am Mormon,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
You said that's crazy?
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Where'd you go?
New Jersey.
Why do you think
Okay.
that's crazy? Well, that's crazy. That sucks. Because you could go anywhere in the world, to go on your mission, and
Yeah.
they send you to Jersey.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's what I thought
Like
too.
you could be going to fucking Peru.
No. You're
You
right.
could
You're
be
right.
going
You're
to
right. And I
fucking
get my call.
Mongolia
I
or
get my
some
call,
shit.
and I open it up, and I look at it, and I'm thinking, Peru or Brazil, the Philippines or Taiwan or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And I see New
Japan,
Jersey, and I'm like,
Tokyo.
that's in the States, isn't
Yeah.
it? And I look up there, and they always call it the armpit of the States, and it truly is, dude. If you look up,
Yeah.
it looks like it's the armpit of the Eastern Seaboard.
Sorry, guys. from
But
Jersey.
now looking back on it,
Yeah.
it was better than going to Peru or Puerto Rico or the
Because you had
Dominican
some
Republic.
pretty amazing.
I had all of them there. So it wasn't. I didn't. It's not like I went to one location. It's like I got to go to Peru. I got to go to the Dominican
They
Republic.
came
Because
Yeah, they were all in
wow,
one
that's
spot.
Crazy, man.
They were all
Never
in one
thought about
spot.
that
I got to eat all the
way.
food. I could tell you where they were from by the look, by the way they spoke, all that stuff. So it was awesome.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
mean, I'm glad that it was.
Interesting.
At first, I
Crazy.
was kind of, man, I'm staying in the States. But after, I'm glad I got to know. Because now when people are from Peru, hey, you eat this.
Yeah.
I know about this spot, in your country.
Dude,
I know about
Pisco's,
your
man.
flag. I know
Used
about
to
all
go
this
eat
stuff.
That Peruvian.
Yeah, Pisco's, man.
All the time.
I love that place.
So,
Dude, I just went there today. I had the fried fish. Oh my god, bomb, big as shit fried fish.
it's a
Oh
free
my
plug
goodness.
for Pisco.
I'm
There you
glad,
go,
I'm
Pisco's
glad
there.
they're
Boop,
still
boop,
open.
boop.
I really
5
wanna-
people now know about Pisco's fried fish. So that's what's up. I should get at least some plantain.
It's
out
on
of this
South
shit.
Side if
You
you're
know what I'm
wondering where it is.
So let's see, where were we at?
Yeah, you were getting beat up in middle
No,
school.
no, we
and
got
then
to
you went to
I went on my
college.
Mormon
mission.
mission.
I
Oh,
went
you
on
went
my
on a
mission. I
mission.
came
That's
back.
right. Okay, sorry.
Came back. My mom said, "Here's $500. Get out. Get out of the house. You're a man now. Go do whatever you want." So I'm all confused. What am I gonna do? So I go out and I go to try out for a baseball team, and it just wasn't as fun.
Yeah.
High school was fun. It was all that I had. I had all these issues at home, and being on a baseball team kind of distracted me from that. And in college, I discovered the fumes. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The perfume, the girls. I discovered.
Oh, okay.
That's the lingo.
So-
okay,
Oh.
now I know.
Yeah, exactly. Because back in the
Gotta
day,
talk
remember I was the guy who got picked on. None of the
Yeah.
cheerleaders or anything want to do with me, but in
True.
college it changed a little bit. And so I had all the girls, all the honeys looking my way, wanting to hang out.
Uh-oh.
And
Don't let the missus hear this.
yeah, no, that's how I found her.
Hey.
She was very happy for that.
Yeah.
It all ties in. It all ties
So
in.
yeah, it was man. Up to that point, it was kind of crazy. Life is awesome. Now looking back, all the different paths that your life can take, and I look at where I'm at now, and I'm just like, man, I'm in a good place. I can't complain at all. Just got wife, 2 kids. Met my wife Latin dancing while at college,
Damn.
and moved out here, obviously with the relocation for the company that we were working for, and got 2 kids, 10-year-old son and almost a 13-year-old daughter, and life is good, man. I just bought a new house.
You did?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
in World Golf Village area.
Oh no way. Okay.
Yeah, so things are good, man.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, so I remember, and Trevor I think remembers, like your last days at our company.
Yeah, man.
I do.
And like
I remember those days very well.
I
Some
think
of the best days there.
Yeah.
we always, I think we always sort of wondered between us, you know, if like because prior to coming back, I mean, you went out on duty,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
that was, I mean, and then you came back, and I felt like something was different. Like you were,
Yeah.
you just did, like you were in a cage, like a
Yeah.
lion in a cage.
Like that song, what is it? Butterflies.
Oh,
by,
butterfly with bullet.
Rat in the
No,
Cage.
bullet with butterfly wings.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, what are those? Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came home and you know I had a little bit of rage built up, and it's funny because it was, even if you're not a non-combat environment, if you're in the military and you go out to the civilian world, there's a huge difference. There's a huge change. People are lazy. People are disrespectful. And I remember coming back and being in a class and sitting in the back of the class the first day I got back. And I remember the instructor asking questions and talking. I saw some of the kids that were sitting around the tables, leaning back in their chair, a couple people sleeping, a couple people looking at their phones. And to me, that was extremely disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I mean, I almost lost it. I had to physically remove myself from the classroom because I couldn't fathom why would anyone do that while someone's working and trying to instruct and trying to help. And you know, it was a huge wake up call to me that life is completely different, and it's gonna take some time for me to adjust.
Yeah.
And in fact, towards the end of that class, one of the students came up and he's like, "Yeah, that first day when you were here," he's like, "I thought you wanted to kill us." And I told him. I told him. I really did. I honestly did. And it was because of that. I just thought, you know, civilian society,
Yeah.
is extremely disrespectful to anybody. Whereas in military, in most cases, they are respectful, yes, because they have to be,
Yeah.
but it's bred into your system to just be respectful regardless.
You have to exude that professional spirit.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And no matter what, like even, granted, there are some times where you're dealing with the higher ups, and you know you have to come off, you know, really outspoken. But generally, even if you are outspoken, you're still respectful. You
Yep.
know?
Yep.
And I've noticed that here too. You know, I mean, yeah, you know, just like you, like my first day back in school, I just remember sitting in class and I just wondering, you know, why are all these people doing, you know, why are they being so disruptive in class?
Yep.
And you know, how can this teacher, you know, it's like at the same time you want to say something, but you know if you open up your mouth, you're going to say something that's going to have you removed from the class.
They're going to kick you out anyway.
You know? And it's like, what do you do at that point?
Yeah. Well, and to back to what you were saying, yeah, I did. I had a really tough time, and finally, I came to the conclusion that I don't belong there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much being in the civilian world because I think I adjusted back to you know doing my job, and it was more of the culture there. I think just it didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it toxic because I loved a lot of the people there. Obviously, we still associate with. Yeah, here we are. A couple years. I haven't seen you in what, a year or two?
Long time,
Yeah, in a while.
I feel bad. I should be hanging out.
That's all right, man. I mean, we got stuff to do, but it's
It's so nice.
yeah, the culture there was just it's kind of a odd environment, and I had to remove myself from it.
You know, something I've been wondering is, you know, after this whole thing, and you saying these things, which are sort of that difference between what you're used to in the military realm and coming back to the civilian world, especially like this corporate sort of culture that we have. What does leadership sort of mean to you? Does it change your perspective on what's honored as leadership
That is a good question.
in one space versus another?
Yeah. And you asked probably the most profound question that, when I think about it, that's the whole reason I left.
Yeah.
Because in corporate society, people get to a leader position by their resume, by where they went to school.
Or by sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, or by being there for 10, 15 years, which that's not necessarily the best recipe for success. You all right?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what Ariana Grande is.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Do you know what Ariana Grande is?
Something big. I don't know.
She's like a singer and an actress.
No, I'm just checking the chat stream. I thought someone
I don't know
said.
who that
I
is.
don't know what that is.
Um,
You're gonna have to explain that. Jesse loves Ariana,
I don't know.
whoever that is.
But leadership,
Yeah, sorry.
to me, civilian world, it's all about the leader. So you're there, the subordinates are there
Yeah.
to support the leader. The military, it should be, and in most cases it is, flip-flopped. The leader is there to support his subordinates.
Yeah.
He does not have a job, a function, exist without his team. So it was difficult for me to be in an environment where we were there to support and make the leadership look good versus.
Why would we have leadership if these people weren't here
Exactly.
to lead anyway?
So, and you remember, we would have conversations and we would get into it like, hey, why is it, we're doing this? And like, oh, it's to help this group, Well, it's not helping the group because these guys, the worker, the busy bees, the morale's down. They don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You're doing it to look good for the
So
leadership.
that's funny because somebody, I can't disclose anything because people that work where I work know these things, but I'll give a very vague description. So there's a manager that had some pretty good overtime results, and it just happened to be, I don't know exactly what the story was, but in the end, the people, the scheduling people need people on Saturdays. So they've pretty much mandated that their team shows up on Saturdays,
It's wrong.
right? To do overtime. I'm like, that's
wrong.
your Saturday, man.
It's wrong.
Like, that's the time when you go spend time with your kids and stuff.
And
you know
that's
what I mean?
precisely what I'm talking about.
And,
so
and it's like, well, why do we have to do it on Saturday? Oh, well, that's when they want it the most. Well, okay, well then what's in it for me to come in on my day off when they want it the most?
Right.
Because when I want something the most, I don't know
don't
that
get
they
it.
necessarily give me anything else
Right.
extra.
Right.
But when they want something the most, I got to show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand that I don't think corporations are around to create jobs, but at the same time, right, they wouldn't be able to run if people weren't there and this talent wasn't there. So it's like, come on, give and take. I mean, there is some give and take. I'm
Right.
not saying there isn't.
But there's a way to paint the picture.
What are we doing? Yeah. Why is it that you look at your people, they're willing to follow you,
Right.
and they do.
Right.
But why would you take advantage of that so you would look good? Does
Correct.
it really help them that they're the highest pushing OT group? Maybe they get a little bit more for a pizza party or something like that. But to some people, who gives a shit about a pizza party? I want to hang out with the recitals on Saturday. But I got to do fucking overtime because my manager said if I don't, it'll cause fucking problems. And I don't. I just want to keep my head down and not be in trouble. So what else am I supposed to do? I better listen to my manager,
Yeah.
and that's what they want. So they're going to look good in front of management because they were able to get their OT time on Saturdays because that's when the business wanted it.
Yeah. It has nothing to
It
do.
has nothing to do with
Absolutely.
the people underneath.
That's correct, and that's wrong.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the way it should be done, I guarantee the person that was probably most successful, he was either a slave driver and everyone hated him, or he painted the picture to his team that it was for a bigger cause,
Yeah.
that they bought into it. So for me, the best specific piece of being a leader, the true leadership, the best thing about it, or the best way to be an effective leader, I guess, is you should be able to, and I had a team leader that told me this, you should be able to tell someone you're going through hell, and at the end of that conversation, they're excited to go with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus, hey, you're going through hell, it's going to be miserable, and you're going to be all on your own, it's going to suck. Because that's typically what the corporate environment produces, and that's not the way it should be. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a communication thing, and I don't think we have it in the civilian.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, if you had someone really trying to, like, if someone was rah, rah, rah about being on the phones We know they're bullshit.
Yeah,
We
but that's
know
just it.
They're bullshit.
Then don't be rah 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 about being on the phone.
Like, dude, let's roll this. We got to do it.
Call it like it is.
Come on.
Exactly.
I'll buy you donuts.
And in my classes, that's exactly what we talk
Well,
about.
yeah, that's how I run my school too. But a lot of people don't. You're right. A lot of people don't. They don't. And I remember there'd be times when people would come up and ask me, like they would say, hey, I'm having trouble with my group. How do I get them to do what I want them to do? Yeah. And I was like, well, and they say, well, you were running your team, and every one of those. I mean, Trevor was one of them, and maybe he can tell me something different. But he's like, the outside assessment was those guys will do anything you say. Yeah. In fact, you don't even have to say it. I've seen you not know an answer, and go to them, and they already know. Yeah. Or they've already done it preemptively without you saying. Like, how do you get them to do that? I'm like, I don't have to get them to do anything. Yep. We're working together.
You've already painted the picture for them.
They understand what I understand. Yeah. I understand what they understand. We speak to each other. And they understand that I have a role in helping to support them, take care of them, make sure that shit doesn't fall on them. Even if it's not my responsibility, even if it's something really their manager got to deal with. I'm like, I don't even want their manager to feel shit on. Yeah. Like, I don't want them to be touched.
But you're there for
I'm there to help them.
Exactly.
So that the being able to be on my team should not be negative ever. Right. So it's like, all right, look, if there's a problem, lay it on me. I don't care. My career's not going anywhere, so I don't give a shit. So just bring it here. And they know that. Yeah. You know what I mean? They know I got their back. And then when things go well, I give them props, And I shove it on them. I'm like, look, you got to give them they're the ones that need it. They're the ones, And I'm like, so have you done that? Well, I just want them to do what I want them to do. Like, well, then that's your problem. Yeah. Why should they want to do what you want them to do? They should be as inclusive as you are. So why do you want to do it?
Corporations pay millions of dollars a year to teach leadership just how to do that. Mm-hmm. And they, for some reason...
What do you think it is? Do you think it's because what do you think it is? Why can't people just do it?
Because because that takes time. That's not when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I'm having this problem. I need to get these people to do what I want them to do." It's too late. It's not. That takes a relationship to be built there.
You have to learn how to be a follower first.
Rendered.
Yeah.
And I think too many leaders, especially with our youth today,
too many chiefs.
Yeah, they all want to be the CEO. I remember being in an interview saying, "Where do you see yourself in a year or two?" "Oh, I see myself as being the director of the site." You kidding me?
In 2 years.
I mean, what does that say to me? Being here for 5 years, you know what I mean? First, don't kick me in the nuts. Number two, that's not how it works. So they're already thinking way too far ahead.
Yeah, but
versus I'm letting them learn to follow.
You don't think their parents and people around them
absolutely
coach them to believe in. I just had this conversation not that long ago, saying like, I was asking someone, do you believe that you could really be anything that you want to be? And they're like, well, yeah, of course. I'm like, would you tell that to a child? They're like, well, yeah, they could if they believe it, they can be it. I'm like, well, really? Do you think I could ever be a professional basketball player? I look like a praying mantis when I'm out there with the basketball, right? Like, I don't have the hand-eye coordination, never have. I never will. Doesn't matter how much I spend time or how much dedication I have. Nika, you are too loud.
Come on, let's go. Come on, go.
Yeah, my dog's walking around. So you guys hear that clickety clack? That's Nika walking around. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know.
So you're saying don't promise our children something that's not attainable.
Like if I said I wanted to be the next Mozart, I mean, that's a special guy. If I want to be the next Einstein, he's a especially gifted person.
Right.
Like, he doesn't have to say, I want to be me.
So I'd have to agree with you.
He just is. He just sees shit differently.
I'd have to agree with you, but I think...
Now, does that mean you can't be related? Sure. You can't find your passion and make your passion and be the best at what you do?
That's what I'm saying.
Sure, do it. Yeah. But it's like...
You're not Mozart.
Find that. Yeah. You got to find that. It doesn't matter how much desire. And it's funny, I talked to my sister about this, about actors out there that believe they're so good,
Tom Cruise.
You know what I mean? And they never get these jobs,
Yeah.
and they don't want to take any feedback, and they miss it. They just don't get it. It's
Yeah.
like, look, you gotta stop and think. Maybe you're not that good, or you need to. Maybe this isn't for you. If you can't take feedback and you can't fix yourself and get to the point where you understand how to do your job,
Or maybe they are that good.
no, maybe
They're not that lucky.
Well, it could be that. I mean, it could be some of those things too. But some of that's perseverance too. You got to
Yeah.
find your place. You got to be smart too.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be
Open your own
making
doors.
amazing pictures and paintings or whatever. You know, painting all these pictures, and you want to be an up and coming artist, and all you ever do is go, you know, to like you're living in some podunk town, and you don't get out of that town.
Yeah.
And I was wondering that too. Like, how many Einsteins are there in some farm village in France that just, you know,
Farm village
someone
in
beat
France.
them into basically threshing hay or something,
Yeah.
and
That's
saying
true.
you have to just do this. That's your destiny. Period.
I bet you there's a lot of them.
And they go crazy on that. They see the world in a different way, and they don't have any outlet to that, and they go nuts.
I bet you there's a lot of them.
But like, if you're a kid and you're like, I want to be that. I'm so inspired by someone that's totally out
But
there.
it doesn't mean you can't try to be there.
Sure, try it. But I mean, if you don't have, you can have as much determination and willpower and everything that you want. If you don't have talent as well,
Yeah.
and not all of that can be built. I don't think all talent can be built.
like the
It's just
underlying message
some of
is
it's
try, but
innate.
don't
It comes
expect.
out like Hendrix just came out. He just became that. You know, it's not like, you know, he's copying someone else or whoever else. You know,
So what would you say to a child then?
be the best at what you want to be.
Yeah. I think the problem is that's not the message. I think the problem is, oh, my child's gonna be the next greatest baseball
Oh
player.
yeah. Do you think
My
it's
child is
all
gonna be the
their
greatest
parents
surfer.
Toddlers
vicariously?
and
pushing
tiaras.
them?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Heck yes. You go to my son's baseball games. There are fathers there that are ridiculous with their children. I mean,
make their child's life all about baseball,
Yeah.
all about the sport, nothing else.
And I try, you know, I teach my son. I mean, I played, you know, at the college level, and I teach him as much as I can, but every single year, and even pretty much every game. Hey, sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
You don't have to do this. It to me it makes no difference. I enjoy doing it with you, but we don't have to do it. He's like that, and luckily because I enjoy it, he loves it, man.
Yeah.
That's all he
That's
ever
really
wants
cool.
to do. But there's other fathers that you could tell, you know, and I happen to coach this team the last year or two.
yeah.
Their kids don't want to be out there, man.
Right.
And for me to coach a kid, my son, who's like, Dad, I want to eat, die, breathe, do everything baseball. He's got to throw the ball to his kid. It's just like puts his glove up and, you know, hey, can I just get a hot dog and go home, you know,
Yeah.
play some video
That
games.
sucks.
So you got both sides of the spectrum there, and it's sad. It's really sad.
So along those lines, Johnny Raoul over here is asking nature versus nurture versus reality.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Nature versus nurture
Is that-
versus reality.
I don't know what
Young?
the versus reality thing is. I don't know if that's like a perception versus reality. I don't know. But
It's like
do you think people were popped out of the womb with a certain ability or certain trait?
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
People have
Yeah.
aptitudes.
Yeah.
I think they are, man.
Have to.
So then that it makes you wonder, like, what other things? Like, so that means your abilities can be bred
Well, how about this?
if
Like,
they're
what's-
passed through. I mean, if you pop out of it innately able to do it, it must be in your genetics,
It-
right?
I think it would depend on what ability it is too, though.
Yeah.
Like height.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
none of my
but
kids are going to be 7'10".
Yeah, but height isn't everything, though.
I think
No.
it's like some things, it depends, like if it's physical, obviously that's genetic and that can be passed down, you know, like you resemble both of your parents, your siblings resemble other siblings, but and then there's some things, you know, things of the mind, things of like what you like to do, what you feel that you're best at doing, like, you know, whether you feel like you're a good writer or something. Like those are certain things that you might be good at, and then you build upon them as you grow older. You know, life is a big experience. It's a journey. So, what you as a child look up to is like, this is what I want to be. As you grow up and you realize the steps necessary to get to what you want to be, I mean, you might not want to be it anymore, or it might push you to be all that you can be. Like at work right now, I'm training to like be a director of newscasts, and that shit is really, really fast paced. And it's like I've done practice runs where we do like an old show or something, and I get really pissed when I fuck up, and you know. But I know I want to do it, and I know when I'm in that seat telling people what to do, pressing all these fancy buttons, like, this is something I can see myself doing, you know.
Yeah.
I
sure.
was only hired there last March, so this March will be my 1 year there. And my boss told me when he hired me, he's like, I don't expect you to work for me, because we're like the lowest studio tech. It's like you just move stuff around and you do that. But he's like, I don't expect you to be a studio tech in a year. Like, find something, learn it. If a position opens up, we're gonna hire you. It's just a change of a name on a payroll or something. So,
If we go back to nature versus nurture, I was just making a connection with schools. You know, starting from preschool to elementary to so forth and so on. Let's take a look at the school curriculum. You go to a public school or a private school, they tell you what classes you need to take. Now, are you taking these classes because you want to, or because this is what's required of you to do? You know. And I was watching this TEDx show, and it's this 14-year-old kid who was giving a TED talk.
I started watching that. Was he a long-haired kid?
He's 14 years old, homeschooled, and he's giving a TED talk to an auditorium of like over 2,000 people, and he's talking about how the traditional sense of schooling. Nowadays, traditional sense where you go to public school, you're sitting in a class and you have to go to social studies. It's not because you chose to go there, but because you had to take that class. You're sitting in a math class, not because you chose to go there, but because it was required of you.
Yeah.
So when we go through these institutions, how are we choosing what our lives are if the school is, dictating, what we have to take? Even in college, I just got my associates, and thank God that, I finally did it. It was a pain in the ass, You're going through all these classes, and I'm taking them. Some of them, yes, I picked them because I wanted to really do them. I had a choice, and I liked how college was set up because I get to choose now. Now I get to choose what I want to do in my life, So when we go back to nature versus nurture, we pop out the womb and we're left to our own devices. What would happen, without these institutions, like the nurturing institutions that we have, such as school.
Yeah, but that's an interesting point to bring up. But like, what's the alternative? Have a kid pick.
No, but give them an option.
Give them options.
Yeah.
Let them allow them.
When I
Like
was in
here
high
are your
school, I had
options. You can choose
for,
this.
like,
And I think a lot of
certain
them
things.
nowadays, it just depends on where you're at.
yeah.
I think, we don't have to go down a whole discussion on where schools are at in our country. But
Yeah.
they suck compared to
Yeah.
other ones.
Oh, just here in Florida, especially.
they're
We're in the
awful.
lowest. We're in the lowest percentile as far as education goes.
Yeah.
It was like on an NPR show like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
horrible.
bad.
Huh.
But definitely, we need to give our kids more options, but not too many options to where they strangle
Options with
themselves.
reason.
Yeah,
Within reason.
you're not going to give my son an option to play Mario Kart. Here's a Mario Kart class. Would you rather take that or algebra? He's going to take the Mario Kart. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah.
Shit, I would too.
It's like I remember I was at a church camp like years ago, and it was talking about how when you pour concrete to make a sidewalk, when you pour concrete, it's not hard yet, so it flows freely. And how do you make something like a sidewalk? You put up some boards so that it stays in its spot until it hardens, and kapuya, you have a sidewalk that you can walk on. But that brings me to your parents are like the boards that kind of to shape you, but the concrete still flow. And I guess that analogy kind of doesn't work because then it makes it sound like, oh, your parents must choose for you.
Yeah, it kind of.
But
makes
I would
sound
put it
you
like
have to
I would
have
put
those
it
set
like
plays.
you are concrete that can be molded into whatever the fuck you want, be it like a sidewalk or some piece of art. Just speaking in this analogy, you can be anything, but with the proper guidance from your parents, they can help you like make it to that place.
How about if you felt like you never set?
Oh, well,
And then
some
the
people's
boards went
some
away.
concrete takes a whole lifetime to set. Some people
And what happens
will have
when it
it.
sets and it's all like crooked and shit?
Like
Then that's when you take the sledgehammer, you break it up,
And you make art out of it.
And you make art.
Like, is that what the
Or grind it up and make
is that
new
what the
ones.
prison system is? Is that the sledgehammer cracking people
prison
into
system is-
Well, you
shape?
didn't make it. Let's go to prison.
How about this? So Grundlepith, I know who that is. You know who
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is. Asked, he thinks it's revealing that a majority of people think they're above average. Do you think that?
Yeah.
Well, if you
Maybe
ask,
the majority of people think.
And-
Do you
and I-
think
and I-
you're above average?
I bet you. Do I think I'm above average?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm
About
below
what?
Sure,
average.
but you're above average in some
Well-
regards.
No, okay. Well, what are you talking about?
Whatever. Well, let's say, what are you above average in? I bet you're
What am I
above
above
average in handling a firearm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
But that's just
like-
because I have more experience.
Yeah, exactly,
Than
but you're above
20
average.
most 20 people would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's above average.
But like
That's
above average in
credit where
IQ.
it's due.
No, I'm one of the
There's
dumbest
more
guys on
than-
this planet.
No, there's
So-
more than that though.
Yeah.
So does above average just equate to
What is it that you
Experience.
do above
What
average?
is above
like if
average?
I
What is the
folded
definition of that?
sheets of paper in half all day long, and you came to me and said, "Well, hey, are you above average at folding sheets of paper?" And I said, "Yep, I
you'd
am."
fold all.
because I do it all the time. Is that the only thing?
I
that
don't
separates
know.
You would know. You would fold those folded sheets
Is
and
there-
then be above average.
Is there a
Because just
gradient
averages, I just
to
folded these sheets.
sheet folding capability?
How much does that job pay?
Can you be like journeyman?
But you have in order to have some kind of baseline though to measure
Yeah, yeah,
averageness.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You know, if everyone left this room, I'm not the most average guy with a firearm anymore. You know, I'm the only person here.
I mean, yeah, okay, sure. I mean, in a room of one, yeah, above
That's right.
average.
Or if you 50%, you
This is James. You on the Boyd? What's up? Who's this?
What's up, man? I just want to say that I'm kind of above average at everything.
You're above
So
average.
where would you put me on that scale?
Dude, I gotta get
Is
this.
that Lil Wayne calling?
That's what your parents.
No, we would have
Wait, hold on a second. Stay on the line. I gotta fix this volume. Hey, how do you fix the volume on Skype? Anybody know out there?
You should options.
Are you
go to tools,
You fix the volume on it?
options.
Yeah, fix the volume.
Go to sounds or audio settings.
tech support for
Turn it all the way up. Press not the thingy that.
Oh
Yes.
man.
How about now? Talk to me, Brando.
Brando. This is not Brando.
Is it not Brando? I can't really hear who's on. Hold on.
Hey, is it one of the switches over here on the right side? On the
Is
board
your
itself?
is your system audio turned up?
Yeah. Come on, Skype.
Probably hit save.
All right.
No, this is not Brando.
Yo, so what's up? Who's this again? Say it one more time. Sorry.
This is D Lake, son, Danny, Mother Lake.
Oh, Danny, what's up, man?
What up?
What is up with this so quiet Skype?
I can barely hear you.
Really? Oh, man. So sorry out there, listeners, if you can barely hear. I don't know what's going on with Skype nowadays. It's sort of
Where's
crazy.
your system volume at?
He says he's above average, though.
I can't wait till you figure out what it is, and it blows my
Oh,
ear.
I know.
Out.
I'm afraid of that a little bit.
It's okay.
I'm sorry about
Should we
that.
listen through that? Doesn't your computer go through the board?
No, not anymore. All right, so Danny, you said you're above. So Danny said he's above average. I got that much.
Yeah, I would say I'm above average, but I forgot the criteria from which we were working on above average.
What makes you think you're above average?
Now talk.
There
he
you
goes.
are.
That's what it was on. I don't know. Yeah, we had to reset.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah. So what'd you say?
That
You
would
can
be
hear 'em, right?
$24.95.
But yeah, but how do you know what the normal is?
Yeah, well,
I can try this. I hope there's no feedback.
I can't hear anything.
I guess it depends on what it is.
Huh. Well, I mean, how do you determine gifted? Like, does that mean you popped out of the womb? What if you worked really hard at something and got good at it? Is that gifted still? Yeah, you tell me. Like you're predetermined to be better at something. Is that gifted? No, okay. So if you get good at something eventually, then you're not really gifted. You're just above average. Is that what you're saying?
You might be the shit, not the shit.com.
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
I don't know. Shaq's just a genetic phenomenon. And you've seen the guy shoot free throws, so it's
Yeah, it's pretty important.
His forehead? Is that what you said? Oh, his heart. Oh, yeah, sorry. Sound wasn't coming in all that great. I think when you can't, hold on a second. I have to do this. Oh, man.
Wow.
Alright. Ow. Alright, so we're gonna have to go back to this. Yo, Danny, you still on?
Danny's gone.
Yeah, I think we lost Danny.
It's alright.
Well, thanks for calling, Danny. Hey, try calling, someone try calling back in if you want. It'd be interesting to get this working. That's so weird. Dude, I run into so many audio problems with this. You know what it is? It's because I don't want to spend any money. That's what it is. I don't want to spend any money. I already spent money on this damn microphone. My brother, thank you, John, gave me this mixer, so I'm able to use that. But I don't want to pay for anything. And sorry out there, people in the world that have to deal with these commercials, by the way. We didn't know. Like, we're talking. Meanwhile, these folks out here listening are subjected
So
to
they could
commercials.
miss a portion.
No, it's pausing it. So, like, they're actually behind us probably by 5 minutes. So,
So we
so
could
by the
talk.
time they hear it.
So wait. We could be talking about anything.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll,
Right.
porn. I mean, whatever. And then you could get instantaneously a commercial about Viagra.
Right, yes.
About vote for Obama.
Right,
it's actually
exactly.
targeted the conversation.
That is
advertising.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
but here's the thing: like, it costs $99
To get
no,
eliminated?
to get no ads. I'm like, $99. Like, can't you start with like $25? Like 99. It goes from 0 to 99.
Well, we'll work our way up. I mean,
You know, maybe I could have to like crowdsource this somehow. So we're like, hey, guys out there, if you want to crowdsource something like $1 each, per podcast, we get our viewership up. No more ads. No more ads. So then when you get your show, when you get your own whatever you want show, we'll you won't have to deal with ads, and your viewership won't have to deal with ads.
well, that's pretty cool, man.
But right now, sorry, because I don't have $99 a month. $99? Wow.
A month?
For
A
what now?
month?
I thought
son?
it was like a one-time.
No, I would do it for
Annual
$99.
fee.
I would
What
do
is
it for like a year.
They have ads when we're talking, like it stops,
Yeah,
and
here,
then
you
the
talk
person
now. I gotta
listening
blow my
in
nose.
has to listen to an ad for about 5 minutes,
Word.
and then they come back, circle
For
back,
$90 a month.
and
That's
99.
kind of expensive.
That's
Like, I can go
fantastic.
from 0 to 99.
I don't know.
That's such like a big jump,
Well, see, to me, I'm wondering where that cost comes from.
Yeah.
Why would it cost $100 for them not to play an ad?
I mean,
That makes absolutely no
like,
sense.
They must be making some
$99
serious money on the ads.
I wonder, how much money are they making?
No, they're not. They're not making any money on the
They're
ads.
just making them annoying. And so I would pay. That's all it is. It's a scam.
$100 a month?
Yeah.
Dang, man. I can't even.
Your show better be shit hot.
I guess.
Fucking that much.
Yeah, competition is stiff, boy. Competition is
Or
stiff.
yeah, if someone out there knows a free website that actually works.
Angel Fire. Angel
actually
Fire.
works with no.
Yahoo
Like this
GeoCities.
one's, this one's free, but it's got ads. You know.
Dang, man.
Well, Raoul, I gotta ask you a question.
All right, what's up?
All right, man. So a little background for everyone who's listening here. I was one of the individuals in the class that Raoul got really pissed off at. And understandably so.
You were?
True? Were you in that class?
I was in that class.
Wait, did
I
I
was
bring you
one
here?
of those people.
It was Ron.
Yes.
Ron's the one who came up and told me he thought I wanted to kill him.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
you're right, I did.
So,
All right.
from the other side of the perspective,
You want some white
if you
bread?
must here. About halfway through this class, I'm watching Raoul. He obviously is, the guy that I acknowledge as leading the class, and I just see that he's a little bit. I won't say not engaged. I mean, you were a lot of fun in class, and you were an enjoyable guy to get perspective from. But during the breaks, I could tell that you just kind of weren't into it. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, it was sort of like, really, I'm doing this. This is my life right now. You know?
Yeah.
And I remember some kid came up to you and was asking you, because this is after you'd come back from, was it your second tour?
First.
First tour.
Yeah.
So you come back from the tour and they say, hey, how are you liking it? Yada, yada, whatever.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how coming into the corporate world is like this void of all adrenaline.
Yeah.
And from my standpoint, I've never been in combat before.
Yeah.
But I surf a lot. I've almost drowned a couple times. And I can understand that when you're really close to death, you're really, really living.
Yeah.
And I kind of, not that I could side with you, but I could kind of see a little bit.
It
into
made
your world.
sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And
you've experienced the same thing like people we have, but under different circumstances. But
Yeah.
you've experienced it,
I mean, there's even different levels of it. I remember not coming home. This has been about a year or two ago, and I took my son with our church group out to what's that? Itchituttony Springs. I don't know if you've ever been out there.
Yeah.
He went tubing. Well, it's really slow moving and enjoyable, and kids are laughing and very comfortable. And I remember we came up about halfway. There's a little like pier. I don't want to say a pier, but like a little dock, a little small boat dock for little rafts, basically.
Okay.
And I told my son, I said, don't hold on, because he was going. Music. Okay, so he was getting to the boat dock, and when he got to the boat dock, he held on, and so his tube went immediately underneath the boat dock, or the pier, whatever the heck we want to call it.
Yeah.
And he was going underneath it.
Wow.
And so I was already beyond, and I jumped out of the little boat that I was in and started swimming back, but I'm going against the current.
Yeah.
And that pier is making that very calm, quiet, serene river. It's pushing it harder. I mean, that little current.
Yeah.
And so I could see him going underneath it. And I've started to count my mind, I don't know if it's instinct or whatever, seconds. So I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3. How long does he have to breathe? And it's going. I'm like, he doesn't have much longer. I got to get up there.
Yeah.
Well, at this same time, there's another kid. He could have been 12, 13. He jumps out. He tries to hold him up. Gets down there, and he's holding him up. And my son has his arm. Yeah, he's got his arm. There's another tube that's tied off, and that's how he gets stuck. So his arm or his leg gets caught in it, and he can't get out. So he's underneath this bridge, and this other kid is sitting there trying to hold him up so my son could breathe. And so again, going back to the adrenaline's pumping in me.
Yeah.
and it's
Wow.
going. And finally, some of the adults get out there. Another adult gets out there and holds him up. He's like, and all he had enough breath to say was help. He had nothing else. So the adult's going under. And so finally I got to the little bridge and picked him up, and I asked my son, he got out there, and I said, hey, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I barely can breathe. He was choking up. He started taking water in.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it just the other day. He's like, Dad, I remember thinking, this is it. He's like, well, I'm going to heaven, because I'm only like 7 years old.
Wow.
Pretty sure that I haven't done any bad enough stuff that I'm going to hell. So I'm like, this is it.
Being a kid, saying that as a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
This is it, it's
But
crazy.
he was like, I got up and I was like, man, look at this place. I'm here.
Yeah, I made it.
I made it. And he's like, I kind of like that feeling of going underneath and coming back out again. And that's exactly what it is. It's addicting.
Yeah.
And my son
Wow.
is addicted to adrenaline. So he loves surfing.
Oh, no.
He loves anything. I mean, if I could throw him off of a cliff with a little
He's gonna wear a
Wingsuit.
wingsuit.
yeah, he'd be all
Yeah.
for it.
Oh,
I mean,
wait.
he's all for it. But he you don't. No one knows what it's like to live life until they've almost lost theirs.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about it. You don't think about it. I mean, any one of us, right? There's 5 of us in this room right now. We could drive home. I mean, I'm hoping we're not knock on wood or whatever.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? That's it. And it's like, dude, I was just sitting there talking with him. And I had a friend the other day. It just happened to, and I'm like, he's gone. You can't change that, and you
Wow.
take it for granted. You take the fact that we're sitting here talking, and in a month or two, we might not be able to talk to each other anymore.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's the adrenaline thing is definitely a for real addiction, man.
Yeah, man.
But I've got it out of my system.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much, my body can't take it anymore. I'm breaking down. I just came back from the field this past weekend, and all the younger kids are all excited because it's freezing outside and we're soaking wet, and I want nothing to do with it
Just
anymore.
kinda
I got it out
down
of the
that
system.
go home.
Yeah, I just want to go home,
Yeah.
be with my wife and kids. So then I'll be wrapping up my military career here in April. I'll be done.
Nice.
Wow.
How many years?
Wow, man.
8 total. So.
Do you feel like all individuals will experience that? If you're pushed into that adrenaline situation over and over, do you think that people just over time tend to break down and, like you say, you kind of get it out of your system?
Yeah, I mean, you become immune to it. You become immune to it to a certain degree, and I've even talked with some special forces guys that, I said, well, when you first went into Iraq in 2003, and you were clearing buildings that were 5 stories tall, and the first couple times they did it, they're like, man, it was high adrenaline, and we were scared to do it in the next room because we were always engaging somebody. After a while, you were looking for it.
Yeah.
You're like, where's the next guy? I can't wait to find it.
Yeah.
And then you talk with at the point where I was talking with them, they're like, yeah, you get to that point to where it's out of your system. You're tired of it.
Yeah.
It's you just come to that realization that it's somebody else's turn to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Also, too much adrenaline can also cause, how some people get addicted to it. Sometimes it just really traumatizes someone
Yeah.
to where they don't want to do anything that excites them.
Yeah.
I've known guys that for a while, they didn't want to go to the movies. I've met
Yeah.
I have a whole lot of Vietnam veteran friends, and they were telling me because I've been to rehab. I've had to sit in rehab with these guys. And they're just telling their stories about how they can't go. They haven't been able to go see a movie in a movie theater since before they went to Vietnam. They're sitting there in there with me, and how it's so different. God, like they for 40 years they didn't want to do anything that excited them because they didn't want to remember. Like they didn't want to go to movies that depicted war scenes. They didn't want to go, to a movie that had too much violence, or they just didn't want to be around that. Anything that, But yeah, there's 2 sides of the adrenaline. One side, you're like, yeah, I want to keep living, and the other side is like, holy crap, did I just survive that shit? Why am I still alive?
Yeah.
You're still stuck. Some people are still stuck there.
Yeah.
And it's a very dark place. So adrenaline is I mean, I love it. I love adrenaline, you know, and I've learned to deal. I mean, a lot of us have learned to deal with these things.
I just find it interesting how it affects people differently. Like, for me, when I encounter a situation like that, everything slows down. It seems like things get quieter. It seems like I am
Tunnel
more
vision.
focused than I have ever been in that specific scenario.
Yeah.
But then take, for instance, my wife, who I love her to death. She just freezes. I mean, it's like, it's a blackout moment
Yeah.
for her. And so, it's interesting to see how different people respond to that, because some people really do get addicted to it.
Well, you can take instances and like let's take the Boston bombings.
Yeah.
How people react to it, it's amazing. You would think that people that were tough or cool and calm and collected, maybe at work, sometimes those are the people that completely break down. And then you'll have the little girl who's very feeble, and
Yeah, she's like call to action.
yeah, she's like, you do this, you do this. Hey, this person lost their leg, wrap it up.
What are you doing?
And
Don't just
yeah,
sit there.
it's amazing.
Like, I mean, when you're in that situation, you don't know exactly what's going on. All you know is that you're doing it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think going back to when you were looking at me, thinking it wasn't so much the adrenaline. For me, it was the lack of purpose.
That's a good one.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I had just left a place that just flooded, got flooded with more soldiers, had just lost some good friends, and I'm sitting here, people are sitting in a room, it's calm, collected, you get to eat what you want. The hardest part of your day is what do you get to eat?
Yeah.
And I have people complaining about, I don't want to go talk on the phone for a couple hours. And to me, it's just like, you serious?
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse. And I knew that's not the way the world, or that's the way the world
Right,
works.
right.
And I get that.
Just how it is.
But when you're sitting there stuck with it,
Yeah.
it's a little
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like my kids. My son, all the time, he complains about what he wants to eat, about, I don't know, hey, I don't want to wear these shoes.
Yeah.
I don't like this. And it's like, I've seen kids that have walked around for miles to grab wood.
Yeah.
They go into town, they sell it, and then they walk back. They're 8 years old, and they're the sole provider for the rest of their brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And you're griping to me about your shoes?
Right.
And I show them that. I show them videos. I say, look at this kid. What do you think this kid would think about a Nintendo Wii right now?
Yeah.
He's not going to say, oh, it's out of date. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just perception, man, and it drives me absolutely insane. I have a hard time with that with a lot of the celebrities. Not trying to call
No,
them out
no,
or
yeah.
anything, but
Yeah.
some of the celebrities. Who was it?
Tom Cruise.
Oh, Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's kind of an easy, but a lot of the others that get into politics, that get into this, all this stuff that they have no idea what's really going on.
Yeah. They have no reference.
No, I'm not saying all of them.
Right.
Some of them are very well informed and do a great thing. Like I think Angelina Jolie, I think she does a really good job, and I think she knows what she's getting into. She goes out there not just to get FaceTime with the cameras,
Yeah.
but to really care and nurture and really do what she's setting out to do.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but to me, it seems legit.
The perception.
Now, Sean Penn, on the other hand, I find a lot. I don't like that guy. I mean, I really don't. It's just the way they want to pick apart stuff, and it's just so hypocritical. You're going to tell me that we should donate more money to Haiti, and we should do this, and we should cut back on how much water we use, and we're the global warming. And dude, you're living in your $10 million mansion, and you've got 6 others, and
You
you're
go out
driving.
to a charity event
Yeah,
once every
yeah,
6
come
months.
on.
I'm like, all right.
Let's do an
Come
energy
on.
audit.
And they only
audit
do
of
it
your
for tax
personal
breaks
home.
too.
Yeah,
That's how they make the money when they're not
Come
making
on,
movies.
Come on. I don't buy into it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'd be very hard for me to live in an environment like that. I have no tolerance for it. I have no tolerance for weak-minded, stupid people.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. It's interesting. I talked to my sister about some of these things, and she shares the same mindset that we were talking about. Like, just that there's there's certain things, if you want to take a stand on something, great.
Yeah.
Like anybody else, like people I work with, me, whoever, I take a stand on something, I believe something, but live it.
Yeah, be informed.
Or do it. Like if you're gonna complain about, like emissions and all this stuff, well, don't fly a jet.
Yeah.
Do like normal people.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself different. But it's like, all right, well, Leonardo DiCaprio wants everyone to do, watch their carbon emissions and be more green, but he wants to be the first person to go to space.
Right.
In a private space thing. You know how much energy that takes to put someone in orbit?
Or politics. I personally, I don't think they should be propagandizing, if that's even a word. What's the
Propagandizing?
propagandizing? For
whatever
people,
it is.
because you have people saying, "Hey, vote for Obama, vote for Trevor, vote for Jim, vote for Bob," and they're like, "Oh, I like his music, so I'm going to listen to him." And I get it, but they themselves are not informed.
But what does music preference have
Exactly.
to do with political
Nothing.
knowledge?
Remember when MTV had that Rock the Vote
Yeah.
thing? In
No,
the 90s
man.
and 2000s? Having Bill Clinton come out on stage at a Pearl Jam concert
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And yes,
know?
propagandize is the
Okay,
verb.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I said
Nice.
something right. See, my
Well
IQ just went up. My average is now
You are officially
more than it
above
was
average.
before.
Dude,
What does
the
that
one that
say
said
about
it in the
the
first
political
place, man.
culture in
You
our
said it in the first
society?
place.
Like, hey, vote for this person because Pearl Jam listens to Bill
Yeah.
Clinton, or vote for Barack Obama because Lil Wayne likes Barack Obama. It's not about knowing the facts about why you're voting for them anymore. It's because you're buying the brand. You're voting for the person who's endorsing
Yeah.
that person.
It's because of a fad. People are voting because it was a fad. and
It's
just
really,
wrong.
it's really just stupidity.
Yeah.
I mean that just it goes to show how amazing and how pathetic our country is at the same time. Like the ability for us to make those decisions based on those kind of inputs, it's just a rich person problem.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. And I mean, just where we're getting at with politics. I mean, I think the biggest problem is we have what most people don't realize. I think the media. I hate blaming the media, but it is a
But
media
they're the big
issue.
factor.
It's because they want to label everything as a Democrat or Republican.
Exactly.
it's gotta be
And I
one
think
or
a
the
lot of the
other.
people that get on front of the camera, whether they realize it or not, if it's Sean Penn or whoever, they want to make it a liberal, a conservative thing.
Yeah.
It's gotta
There's
be, you
tons
gotta
of
pick a
people
team.
in the middle.
Yeah, you gotta pick a team.
I mean, I'm not for abortion,
Yeah.
but at the same time, gay marriage,
Who gives
and
a fuck?
even as conservative as I am, I'm a little more flexible there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me completely obsolete from the conservative party, and I definitely don't want to go down the avenue of the liberal party. You know what I mean? It puts me in the middle. But I want nothing to do with either party because all they do is sling mud. I want someone in the middle,
Yeah.
and the media can't provide that. And we only have two parties, and that's a problem. We should not have two parties. There should be no parties.
Well, I think
We have a whole lot of parties just they're not given a lot of
Yeah.
voice, Like
Yeah.
if you ever go to the polls, you see all these different groups here in Jacksonville that I had no idea that we had a communist party, a Marxist party.
They've been around since the 60s.
There was
Got it
even
all.
like like the libertarian groups, the grassroots groups, they're not big names. They're towards the end of the ballot, You don't really know.
Do you have a hard stop time?
It hasn't been super hard, but
Did they cut you off?
no, not really. But
Is Nikkei over there eating cereal?
I almost wonder
He's
what he
eating your cereal,
I
man.
don't know.
He's
On-
like, he's walking around here like, he's hungry.
On that note, because I don't know what he is doing, to be honest. Probably should check it. And it's about an hour and 5 minutes so far. And I appreciate everybody listening. Hey, by the way, if you enjoyed Raoul, he's going to be back. You going to be back? Did you like that?
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good break from everything else.
Good.
I still
good.
got a lot more to talk about, too.
Oh yeah, man, this is just the beginning. I mean, and everybody, if you liked what you heard and you want to get involved, just let me know. Send me an email, theboydpodcast@gmail.com. This track is Mr. Carmack, so I'll post Mr. Carmack's SoundCloud link on the chat stream. Check it out. Thank you. See y'all later.